The 2019 NBA free agency saw a number of teams make blockbuster moves, with experts and fans claiming that the free agency window had restored parity to an NBA that was previously dominated by super teams, or more specifically, the Golden State Warriors. Among the host of NBA teams that made a splash during the star-studded free agency was the Brooklyn Nets, who made the biggest move of them all, signing Kevin Durant to go alongside Kyrie Irving and a team that had previously made the playoffs. So with that in mind, expectations were high for the Nets. Even with an injured Kevin Durant forced to look on, fans expected a team that had the likes of Kyrie Irving, Caris LeVert, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, and Jarrett Allen to make the playoffs and potentially make some noise. Amongst the high expectations that were placed on the Nets' short-term prospects, the prospect of building for the future was looking increasingly good for Brooklyn prior to the cancellation of the season. Now let's take it back to the 21st of June 2019. The 2019 NBA draft was headlined by a generational talent in Zion Williamson and terrific prospects in Ja Morant and RJ Barrett, and this meant that there was an incredibly heavy focus on those first three picks and the rest of the lottery that followed. However, like we have seen so often, there was plenty of value later in the draft. We saw Memphis select Brandon Clark towards the end of the first round, which was a steal at the time, and looks like daylight robbery following the season that he had. The Warriors found yet another one in the second round, with the drafting of Eric Paschall, and who can forget the biggest steal of all, undrafted rookie Kendrick Nunn. Now these are just three names that come to mind and have had particularly impressive rookie campaigns, but over the next couple of years I expect more names to be classified as steals from the 2019 draft. As for the Brooklyn Nets, when it came time for them to draft at the start of the second round, they chose the 220-pound 6'11 prospect out of Georgia, who had not been considered anywhere near a first-round pick prior to an impressive pre-draft screening process that saw teams take a lot more interest in the center out of Georgia, Nic Claxton. Despite only being in the infancy of his NBA career, Claxton has already had teammates and coaches involved with the Nets incredibly excited for what the 31st pick can offer the team going forward, with expectations that he may be a major contributor sooner rather than later. Now here's the kind of praise that Spencer Dinwiddie heaped on the Nets rookie. Nick is the second most talented player on this team, Dinwiddie said. First is KD, either the first or second most talented scorer of all time, but Nick's got game. He's got a chance to be great. Now I know what you are thinking, a team that has Kyrie Irving, Caris LeVert, Jarrett Allen, and Spencer himself, and Dinwiddie sees Claxton's talent above all of those previously mentioned? Yes, that's what Dinwiddie believes to be true, and I'm not going to doubt someone who has actually spent time training and playing with all of these guys. So how has a relatively unknown center out of Georgia gone from a player seen as a late second round pick to a player seen as an end of first round, early second round pick to the second most talented player on a team considered a championship level roster when fit, all in the space of a year? Here's how. Coming out of high school, Claxton wasn't seen as a top prospect. He didn't feature on ESPN's top 100, and he was the 28th ranked player at his position amongst the whole of the 2017 draft class. Following his high school career, Claxton committed to the University of Georgia in the hopes of developing into a more well-rounded prospect and hopefully making it to the NBA following a few years of hard work and development. In Claxton's freshman season, he played in every game but provided very little scoring impact, only recording 10 or more points on one occasion throughout his first season at the college level, averaging under 4 points and 4 rebounds per game, playing as a backup to Rayshawn Hammonds, another freshman power forward. The following season, under the new leadership of head coach Tom Crean, Claxton became a solidified starter, starting every game for the Bulldogs and leading the team in scoring and rebounding, averaging 13 points and 8.5 rebounds per game, a considerable improvement from his first year. Following an impressive sophomore season, Claxton was now seen as a second round prospect in the 2019 draft and a player likely to be picked up towards the end of the draft. However, following that previously mentioned pre-draft process, in which Claxton impressed a host of teams with his play in team scrimmages, Claxton shot further up draft boards, being projected as a late first round, early second round pick. During these scrimmages, Claxton was said to have shown defensive prowess and a good motor on defense, disrupting the shots of a number of different players, from small through to big. In addition to this, Claxton showed an ability to handle the ball and play make for his teammates, a trait that had been shown at at Georgia, but was more evident to scouts prior to the draft. And with the ever-changing landscape of the NBA leading to multifaceted big men who can create their own shots, defend and playmake for their teammates, Claxton's ability to do this saw him become a tantalizing prospect for franchises looking to secure their future big man. Claxton clearly flashed his high potential at the collegiate level, but what has he done to impress so many people in the Nets organization since his arrival? Nets player Chris Chiozza had this to say when asked about why Claxton has caught the eye of so many this early into his NBA career. Oh man, he's a beast, especially when he got his hamstring better. He's just a force down there with athleticism and his length. I'm sure he's going to be a great player. He's going to bring a lot of rim presence and also his ability to rebound. He's like an elite rebounder. He's got a great motor. With that size, athleticism, and having a motor, there's just not a lot of people like that. That really separates him. Having only played 9 games in the G League and 15 games in the NBA, which have been on limited minutes, Claxton doesn't have a ton of big performances from a statistical point this early in his career, but he has done enough to receive such high praise from players and coaches in the organization. Claxton certainly showed his talent when dropping 34 points and 9 rebounds on the 5th of March in the G League. Now this play here is the encapsulation of why Claxton has gained so much praise. Watch him successfully box out the opposing team's center before running the whole court and finishing with a tough layup, going away from the basket with his right. Only a few plays later, Claxton picks the ball up at half court before sizing up his defender with a hezi and finishing at the basket with the contact. This game, Claxton showed off the whole package that he has to offer, hitting 5 threes, showing his potential as an asset in the pick and roll with his ability to roll to the rim and dunk like we saw here, or hang back and hit the 3 ball, which he did on 5 different occasions throughout the game. Now Claxton did not have any games to that level of domination in his limited time playing for the Nets, but he did have 2 good back-to-back games in which he scored 15 and 14 points against the Sixers and Bucks, respectively. Even with far less responsibility playing for the Nets, his ability to handle the ball and attack the basket in a half-court situation was on display. Here you can see him drive at Bolden before finishing a layup going to the right while receiving contact, a move that is a mainstay in his arsenal. Now, what makes him so good and the reason that he is seen as the future of the Nets franchise by many in the organization at this point is his motor, as well as his desire to rebound at an elite level. Here he boxes out to a tee off the missed shot and puts up a nice hook in contact to finish with a great hustle play, showing off his determination on defense and finesse on offense as well. If you need any idea as to how good he could be as an offensive rebounder when he gains a bit more size, here he is boxing out the reigning MVP Giannis for a putback slam over 2 7-foot guys. And one more aspect of Claxton's game that stood out at the collegiate level and that he has somewhat transferred to the NBA level is his defensive ability and his ability to block shots. His versatility when defending players was evident on 2 occasions throughout the game. Watch as Claxton contests Bender at the rim, a 7-footer, sending the shot back before later in the game contesting a much smaller and more agile Sterling Brown's shot off the dribble, who is several inches shorter than Claxton, yet could not get any separation. With a lot of young prospects, NBA fans and more so NBA experts, in quotation marks, are quick to put a ceiling on these players because of a flaw in their game, or multiple flaws in their game, comparing them to other players that have had similar flaws that were never improved upon, and thus never reached their potential. And I think we saw a number of teams do this when passing on Claxton, a player that really showed enough to be a lottery pick, with his length, touch, and tenacity on both the defensive end and offensive end, particularly when it comes to rebounding. However, his shortfalls such as his frame and inability to match the strength of other big men in the post when trying to guard them saw him drop to the 2nd round, where Brooklyn were able to pick up one of the more talented prospects in the whole draft in the 2nd round because of this. With this being said, what do I think Claxton could turn into with the right development and work ethic? Which is probably a good time to mention that Claxton was a member of the All-SEC academic team 2 times and has a reputation for being a hard worker, suggesting that work ethic will not be the downfall of Claxton's career. Nic Claxton came into the draft as one of the most talented prospects because of his combination of intangibles and skill set. So far throughout his NBA career and G League career, what I have seen suggests that he fits the bill. And with the backing of his teammates, I expect big things out of Claxton in the near future. You look at big guys in the NBA that can handle the ball, rebound at a high percentage, and make plays for themselves and their teammates, and you're generally talking about the best of the best. The likes of Bam Adebayo, Giannis, and Nikola Jokic, with Ben Simmons having those similar traits as a guard. Now Claxton has a long way to go before he reaches the level of those guys, but who is to say it can't be done? He's incredibly fluid in transition and has the ability to make plays in the half court, which he has not only shown on a multitude of occasions in the G League, but on occasions in the NBA. He has shown an ability to stretch the floor and shoot the three ball, which still needs improvement, but a willingness and ability to shoot the three ball as a young big says a lot about his confidence in his shooting stroke. He has a high IQ on the defensive end when it comes to blocking shots, switching and grabbing defensive rebounds, and he also has the ability to guard positions from small to big with his lateral quickness and length, giving him a unique ability to stay in front of smalls and contest bigs at the rim, which is yet another aspect of Claxton's game that is synonymous with some of the best bigs in the NBA currently. Nic Claxton is a name that you are most likely unfamiliar with prior to this video, and he has not set the NBA world on fire in his rookie season, but the glimpses we have seen, plus what teammates and coaches are saying about his potential and ability, suggest he could be the man to lead the Nets' next generation. Actually, scrap that. He could be the man to win a championship with the Nets alongside KD, if he develops at the rate we have seen other players with his skill set develop at. Anything's possible in the NBA. You know what else is possible? Hit that subscribe button. That's it. Thank you.